My personal explanation is on the issue of NDLEA malicious reaction to the debate on the bill seeking to establish an institute for drug awareness and rehabilitations. I express my concern and my contribution on this bill for so many reasons. For the simple reason that there are a lot of informations from my constituency on the negative effect of drug consumption and trafficking, to the extent that today one of my constituency members was asserting that in the last 2 years he can count up to 50 people who had lost their sanity based on consumption of drug. Equally true, there are feasible examples of barons, mini barons, who are making money through distribution of drug in my constituency and other constituencies too. Equally too, we observe that there are increase in drug-related crime. And because of these and many other reasons, I strongly contributed on the floor of the Senate that the Senate should look into the operation of NDLEA and advise that issue of corruption among the operative should be looked into, to the extent that after debate, I fully supported the bill on the establishment of another agency that will take care of rehabilitation. Your Excellency, by this I'm coming under Order 42, personal explanation, to explain and clear myself on the insinuation published, especially in Daily Trust, that I, Mr. Senator Ashiru, is involved in distribution of drugs. I want to ascertain that in my life, I'm upward of 78 years now. I'm 68 years now. I assert that I cannot even identify what we call cannabis or any drug. Beyond taking water, I don't take alcohol, I don't take any drug. I don't even take carbonated drinks. Beyond taking water and normal food, I don't get myself involved in this thing. Your Excellency, my reaction on my finding is simple. The basis of this debased publication can only be traced to my
distinguished colleagues. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act and for other matters connected therewith 2024 SB 142. Second reading taken. The bill is now committed to the Committee on Health, Secondary and Tertiary to report back to the Senate within 2 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Involved. The NDA has made unfounded allegations against me. These allegations are malicious and attempt to undermine my credibility as a senator and impede my ability to fully participate in parliamentary debate. Your Excellency, I am of opinion that for the protection of myself as a member of this Honorable Chamber, for the protection of the Senate and other senators, we must do something about this as we submit.
Order 42 of our rules, under personal explanation, which does not engender debates. And therefore, he has presented his point. I personally feel that whatever the NDLEA is doing must be based on your submission here, which you pointed out that the issue of integrity of the officials should be looked into. And you know, when the bill for the establishment of the rehabilitation center for drug takers or drug users was raised. So if the NDA felt that you were a drug baron, they should have arrested you before you got to 30 years. They should have brought it up before you were 50. They would have brought it up before you were 60. They would have brought it up before you were 65. Not at the age of 68, just after your contribution on the floor of the Senate. And I understand the person that went on television was even alluding to the fact that you made contributions on the floor and trying to quote what you said on the floor. I think Nigerians are not aware of the Constitution and the laws of the land. Anything you say here is privileged. It's covered with immunity. It's not subject to debate on the radio or television. So we feel that, I don't want to jump into conclusion, but you have never been invited by NDLEA. You have never been charged to court by NDLEA. NDLEA never said anything about you as a person. And we in the Senate, we see you as a gentleman to the core. You are not even somebody that takes alcohol. So these things, we must, my dear colleagues, we must take this issue very seriously, because injury to one is injury to all. And we must call this agency to order. So it is my personal view that we should immediately set up an ad hoc committee to invite the NDLEA and the rest of them, all those involved, to come and justify the allegations against Senator Ashiru, failing which the Senate will take very drastic actions. Is it the view of the Senate that we set up an ad hoc committee to look at this issue holistically and come up with recommendations before the Senate for appropriate action? Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Accordingly, the following names will constitute the ad hoc committee to look into the allegations made on television channels and publish a Daily Trust newspaper, which I have a copy here. How we recovered consignment of drugs from Senator Ashiru's house. And this is said to have happened in February last year. And it is only coming up now because you made contributions on the floor of the Senate. So this is Daily Trust. Members of the committee would include Senator Ide Dafinone. We are bringing them all from across the geopolitical zones. The distinguished Senator Ireti Kinkibe, distinguished Senator Eyinaya Abaribe, distinguished Senator Afolabi Shuaibu, distinguished Senator Lawal Usman, and we have distinguished Senator Kaka Shehu San, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as chairman of that committee, to report back to the Senate within 1 week because of the seriousness of the issue. Leader of the Senate.
Yesterday night, I had a lot of sleepless nights. I visited my constituency. And the most worrisome thing was the devastating effects, not only of trafficking in drug, but in consumption of this drug. Mr. President, there are so many things we should understand and put into consideration when it comes to issue of drug and narcotic. Drug issue had become a very big economy, very big one among our youthful population. Drug issue had become a very, very serious problem to the extent that I have a terrible fear for our tomorrow as a nation. Without being economical with truth, more than 70% of our youthful population are into drug consumption. And from my own little discussion in my constituency, I discovered that the issue goes beyond NDLEA. NDLEA had become so compromised, so ineffective, to the extent that leaving drug enforcement or drug education to NDLEA will never get where we are going to.
Thank you, leader. Thank you. You made your point. Chief, you have one.
Mr. President,
Kamaila Sumaila, Kala Sumaila, you speak to give the medical perspective to it, right? But 1 minute, please.
Mr. President, my dear, respected and distinguished honorable colleagues, I am Suleiman Abrahaman Kau Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District. Mr. President, I think the intent of this bill, the content, and the general consensus of our distinguished senators are in support of anything that will stop drugs-related abuses in Nigeria. Therefore, but, Mr. President, there is one aspect which we need to look into. Whether we created this agency, whether we strengthen the activities of NDLEA, we need to do something. We, as politicians, we, as leaders in this country, we, as stakeholders, we need to do a lot. We all believe that religiously, both Islam and Christianity, even in our traditional religion, drugs-related abuse or drug abuse is prohibited. But who are encouraging and who are supporting it? Mr. President, we cannot achieve the result. We cannot achieve the intent of this bill unless and until we all agree that we will put our head together with relevant stakeholders to stop drugs abuse in Nigeria. Let us ask ourselves during our campaign, what are we doing with the so-called youth? How many of us can swear with Quran or Bible that in any way they are not supporting drug abusers in their constituency? I am happy if all of us can swear with the Holy Quran that they are not in any way in support of drug abusers or intoxicating youth in their constituency to take drugs for their political. And Mr. President, we need, whether we are allowing this bill to continue to have an agency or we are strengthening LDE, we need to create a situation where before contesting election or before taking appointment at whatever in government level, you must go for drugs test. Finally, Mr. President, now I am speaking, I am here, as I am speaking now, most of our officers in our constituencies, most of our political office in our constituencies, most of our houses, when you go there, you will find out that there is mountain of drugs, and there are drugs dealers in our offices and in our houses, or in our houses. I am immune to talk. I am in the chamber of the Senate, and I can take you to some of the political leaders who are in so many ways contributing or supporting drugs abuses in Nigeria. Therefore, Mr. President, we need to be serious. If we are talking, we need to understand we are all 19 here. Nigerians are watching us.
Thank you very
and
much.
God is with us.
Thank
we
you.
must fight it between
Thank you
from
very
our
much.
own side, not making law or not talking in the chamber of the Senate. We need to be serious. Let us go through the test and see who and who are not.
But excuse me, please, let me draw the attention